Michael Kuenzler, co-owner of All Family Pharmacy, your go-to online pharmacy. Be sure to visit allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Michael, we know that ivermectin has been at the center of controversy for recent years, but how significant is the announcement for the future of cancer research in Florida with what Governor Ron DeSantis helped put out yesterday on World Cancer Research Day?
I think it's huge. I think it's very important. And it's not just about ivermectin, it's about all medications out there. There are so many different generic drugs that can be repurposed for an alternative use. That's what they're talking about right now, repurposing ivermectin basically for cancer. And it's a cheaper option. The Casey DeSantis went over the cost effectiveness of a generic like ivermectin and how it's only a couple of dollars a tablet, whereas these chemo, radiation, or other alternative therapies cost thousands and thousands of dollars. So obviously there is some sort of great basis off of the cost alone, how much drug companies wouldn't make compared to how much us as Americans would save if we were to contract cancer or be trying to be preventative of cancer. So that in itself is huge.
And we know the good First Lady of Florida, having gone through her battle with cancer herself, and in certain situations, like you said, Michael, with radiation and chemo treatment, not only making people very tired, but in some cases being poisoned by these things, and in other cases, cancers returning. But many people have had a hard time finding a doctor who's willing to prescribe ivermectin for one reason or the other. Sometimes it's big pharma, sometimes it's simply availability. How does your pharmacy make that process even easier and accessible for your patients?
Yeah, excellent question. You know, when we started in 2020, 2021, the biggest hurdle that patients had was, where can I find ivermectin? And then they found the source who would dispense them ivermectin. And then how do I get a prescription for it? My doctor won't prescribe it. So we came into play and we decided, hey, why don't we just put both together, which has been unheard of in most cases outside of hims and hers for obviously other uses. But we've taken the protocol of, here's a doctor, here's a pharmacy that'll dispense the medication. See the doctor, tell them your medical history, go over everything with them. If they feel it's safe and effective, they will prescribe it for you. And they'll teach you how to take it in a safe and effective way. And then here's the pharmacy that will dispense it and ship it to you. We put everything, basically, it's not under one roof, but it's basically under one roof for the patient so that it's very user-friendly, very easy to do. And we provide the doctor as well as the pharmacy that'll dispense both medications, which, if you know, since 2020 has been very difficult to find.
Now, what strengths and dosage options do you offer for ivermectin specifically, and how can the patients figure out which one is right for their needs?
So we offer 6 milligram, 9 milligram, 12, 18, 20, no, not 24 anymore, 30 and 45 milligram. Now, with the cancer research and the physicians that we work with, these are licensed doctors. This is not information we are coming up with. These come direct from physicians. It's a weight-based protocol, but it incurs a more aggressive dose of ivermectin. Traditionally speaking, most humans would take about 12 to 18 milligrams for specific parasitic conditions. When it comes to the cancer protocol, they're taking somewhere upwards of 3 to 5 times the amount. So it is a much higher dosage. Obviously, every doctor has their own dosage. Every patient would take it based on stage of cancer. But when it comes down to it, we provide a dose calculator that'll give you accurate information that would help provide you or direct you in the direction best suited for your weight, because ultimately the drug is weight-based. And if you want to take it in these high dosages, we have pharmacists on staff, we have doctors on staff that will speak with you in how to take it in a safe and effective way. Because again, we are going to inform you that the cancer research does provide a higher dose. But I wouldn't be too skeptical of it. The higher dose does not automatically mean toxicity. In the toxicity realm, based on the physician's information we've been provided, it's somewhere upwards of 2 milligrams per kilogram of body weight, whereas our doctors are prescribing anywhere from 0.6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight and 1 milligram. which is half of toxicity level, which traditionally speaking should be a comfortable range. But again, that just means increased side effects.
Now, have you seen a rise in patients moving towards the off labels regarding cancer research and also other treatments for other diseases, not just the parasitic infections, which is really a traditional use for ivermectin?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. There is been a massive rise in cases where people are coming to us and they want to take it not only for cancer, but cancer is by far number one. They want to use it for an inflammation response, arthritis. They want to try it for MS. You know, we're not going to sit here and say, hey, this is going to work. We're going to guarantee it. We have no idea whether it's going to work for MS or it's going to work for arthritis or some sort of inflammation response. But what we will tell you is we'll point you in the right direction to find information that you could do your own research on. And if you decide to go that route, you want to purchase it from us, we're going to then teach you how to use it in a safe and effective manner that would help make sure that the medication doesn't harm you and that we hope that it helps you. This is called off-label or off-label use or repurposed drug that we would do. So again, the FDA does not like it. The government does not like it. Drug manufacturers do not like it. They don't want the liability. We don't want a liability of people getting hurt taking medication. So that's why we're here to help you take it in a safe and effective manner so that you don't get hurt taking it.
And have you heard any feedback from patients who have gone this route with the off-label? And what guidance would you provide for those who are looking to have ivermectin and other life-saving prescriptions to make that more informed decision about how they can tackle a cancer diagnosis or even another disease that might be a first-time trial for them?
Sure. We've got tremendous results. We've heard from some of our patients. A few of them I speak to on a weekly basis now, even when they're cancer-free. Again, the medication, we're not sure if it's the medication that's doing it, if it's traditional chemo or radiation. I have a couple patients who didn't even take chemo or radiation or were finished taking chemo and radiation and nothing was working. I had a couple patients who were on some sort of trial drug, which we would call an immunotherapy, but it's a trial drug. So again, the FDA never recommended it for it, but they're trying to see if it helps. It's an expensive drug, but they were also taking ivermectin and mebendazole, in some cases fenbendazole, and their cancer is either stopping, it's not growing, or they're cancer-free. Some of them, we have patients who are just kind of at a stagnant level, which, and as you know, as a patient who suffer from cancer, a stagnant level where the cancer stops growing is sometimes a good thing. Mm-hmm. In many cases, it's just how do we overcome that hurdle? I'm not an oncologist. I'm never going to pretend to be an oncologist. I'm not a doctor, a medical physician. I just receive information and I pass that along. Again, I'm a big proponent of do your own research, talk to your family, do what's right for yourself and come to us. Like President Trump always says, you always have the right to try. All Family Pharmacy will provide you that right to try. We're going to try to teach you the best way possible. And we have a staff of doctors and pharmacists who will make sure that if you're taking the medication, again, it's in a safe and effective manner.
And any side effects that have been recently seen with the off-label use? Again, this is unprecedented and very welcome, given the fact that, as you mentioned, Michael, President Trump, his team really leading that way in the last decade of right to try and taking on big pharma, because one size doesn't necessarily fit all.
Yeah, that's correct. Side effects. Side effects is a long list of every drug has, and the drug manufacturers list them. Our traditional side effects are upset stomach, diarrhea, dizziness. Again, that correlates to an upset stomach. There's a long list. We have over 100,000 people who have taken ivermectin. I've maybe heard twice from my team of pharmacists about side effects like edema, which is swelling of a limb, which could be major side effects, especially if it's from the medication. Rashes, very little rashes. There are not many side effects from ivermectin, but again, every person's different. Every dose will determine whether you're increasing your risk of side effects. And then again, we're going to teach you how to combat them. What are ways we can go around these side effects or take the medication in a manner that's going to prohibit or limit the amount of side effects we are going to get from it? Ivermectin's got a pretty safe protocol. It's been around for 40 years or longer. There's millions and millions of people around the world. Nobody dies from this medication. Nobody's going blind from it. Like the Ozempic trials, what's going on right now with Novo Nordisk and pancreatitis and all this crazy, crazy side effects. Ivermectin doesn't have those profiles. Mebendazole doesn't have those profiles. Nobody cares about the drug because, like Casey DeSantis said on her speech today, the drug costs pennies, dollars. A 3 milligram tablet costs like $1. A 6 milligram tablet would cost $2. A 12 milligram tablet would cost $4. A drug company is not going to want to sell that for cancer. They're not going to want to find an alternative purpose for it because it's not making them money. They're going to sell you a medication that's going to make you money, like Keytruda. Keytruda, I've got nothing against it. It's an immunotherapy. It's in trials. And, I hope it could lead the way in cancer research. It's $70,000 a shot. You got to do it for 6 months. You do the math. Most insurance companies won't even pay for that. So who's stuck for it in that bill to try to save their life? $70,000 for one shot? That's insane.
And that's something that's an important feature of your online pharmacy, really leading the way on these life-saving medications. The fact that you don't need to have insurance and the fact that it is actually affordable. And why is that, Michael, that ivermectin and some of these other life-saving medications are cost effective, as we saw from the governor and first lady of Florida with this breaking news research?
Yeah, so it's affordable because it's a generic. It's been around for decades. It's been on the market. It's gone through its patents, which is why, all these drugs are making so much money, is because the drug companies patent it. Nobody could touch it for 10 years. They make a couple $1 billion. They walk away. They find the next drug. Once it's off patent, it then becomes a generic. And then it becomes sold at pennies on the dollar, or a couple dollars, $10, $20, $30. They don't care about it anymore. They've made their money. They're on to the next drug. They're on to the next research. One of the biggest things on why we don't take insurance, my father passed away from cancer. He passed away waiting on insurance to cover a trial drug. And it shouldn't happen that way. People shouldn't have to wait for medications. It's kind of sad to see. It's kind of sad to watch. Insurance forces people, and I hate saying this, who have cancer to wait. Why do they have to wait? Out of all the people in the world, why do they need to wait 30 days? Why do you need to do 7 diagnostics tests on them? You've done it for 6 months to a year. You have all the data you need. The patient is not doing well. Why are they waiting? And, I suffer from that. My family suffered from it. So one of the reasons why we don't do insurance is for that specific reason. And the second is they block everything you want to do. They block every medication you want. They determine what you should take. It shouldn't be up to them. It should be up to the doctor, and it should be up to yourself. So
yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that, Michael. Thank you for sharing, because it's important to remember to stay ahead on these things, and prevention is the key. But also, yes, that there is a keep you sick system that does exist in America. And fortunately, it's great organizations like yours at All Family Pharmacy and this Make America Healthy Again movement trying to solve that problem. Right now, it's RSBN 10 for 10% off. Anything else you can share from allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN, where people can receive these life-saving medications?
Yeah, so we've designed a Substack. We've gone over it a few times. We're providing information coming direct from some of our physicians, PhDs, pharmacists on staff. That's going to go over a lot of these protocols that people have no idea about. And we want them to read it, and we want them to do their own research. These are ways that we could provide you information without big tech blocking us. Biggest problem with us being able to get you some sort of trial or data that's on a repurposed drug like ivermectin is Google, Yahoo, all these Gmail accounts. They're going to block us from emailing you this. I'm sure ivermectin is a keyword that gets blocked in Google or Gmail. I would not be surprised. As you know, on Facebook and the Meta platforms and YouTube, you could barely even say the term ivermectin or fenbendazole. I've been in a ton of groups where they actually have to spell it incorrectly in order for the keyword to pass by that. So we've created a Substack that's going to provide the information. We can say the word ivermectin. We could say the word mebendazole or fenbendazole. We're going to provide all of the information that you could read about it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to encourage you to do your own research, come back to us with any questions, and we'll definitely assist you.
And it's a great staff of patriots, doctors, nurses, pharmacists who know a thing or two about this arena and truly leading on that online work to bring you life-saving medications in 2 to 3 days to your door. It's very convenient, is it not?
Yes, we try to get them as fast as possible. Due to legality purposes, it's usually up to 5 business days, but we've gotten better. We're beating out our competition. We offer overnight services, up until like 3 or 4 p.m. We still have to get it to a doctor. They still need to either speak with you, review your profile, go over a few things. But we provide lightning fast delivery, 2 to 5 days tops. Some people get it next day, which is amazing.
Excellent news. Michael Kuenzler, co-owner of All Family Pharmacy. You can get that now at allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Thanks for joining us again, and we'll see you soon on the right side of history.
Thank you.